As Delhi entered second coronavirus lockdown, Hanut Singh and his team decided to combat migrant hunger. They were focused at providing free daytime meals and dry rations to unemployed and migrant laborers, women, and children. They also distributed sanitary kits to girls in orphanages. NewsX proudly recognizes second wave superhero Hanut Singh.
Hello, welcome. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're watching NewsX, and you're joining us today on our special show, Second Wave Superheroes. We're in conversation today with Hanut Singh, social worker. Hanut, firstly, welcome to NewsX. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Uday. Happy to be here.
Let me begin by asking you about, this initiative of yours. What really led you and your family to start it?
Well, Uday, I've got to give complete credit to my mom. At the beginning of the second lockdown in April, when it felt like the sky was falling down on us in Delhi, it really felt like our city was on fire, wasn't it? She felt that with the resources she had at her disposal, it was her duty to help out people in need. So it really started out as just distributing food to those who could, she could provide to at the time. Mm-hmm. And she linked up with this local NGO called Delhi Langar Seva Society. And then, over the span of a few days, suddenly they're distributing a few hundred meals a day, which was quite an impressive task to do in such a short span of time. Since then, we've come a long way and expanded, but that's really how it all began.
Okay, just tell us a bit about the work that you managed to do so far. As you're saying, it started out small, but you managed to get momentum into this initiative. So tell us about the work you managed to do so far.
Okay, so, well, you'd know that, of course, most of our government resources are being directed toward ensuring oxygen supplies and hospital beds and procuring vaccines, which they should be, but often those who are left unemployed and the socio-economic effects of the coronavirus lockdown are neglected. So with that in mind, we've been trying to feed people, provide free meals. And so what we're basically doing is we started a sort of langar in our own house. Mm-hmm. So we have our in-house team, consists about 10 people. We have 2 cooks making the food, about 5 or 6 people in packaging, and 3 who go out for distribution. Sometimes I'll join them, sometimes my mother will join them. Mm-hmm. And so it's totally in-house, and it sort of started like that. And we were going at that rate for about a month, feeding a few hundred people every other day or so. And this was all done at our own cost, privately provided. But, eventually we started... It wasn't sustainable. So I set up a donor page just a couple of weeks ago, hoping to rally some support from the public for the cause. And so far we've received a tremendous response. And I've got to say, that's what's really helped us expand.
Fantastic. So you're saying that the response from people, obviously who you reached out to immediately, and then the wider public at large has been amazing, both across the country and abroad. And has that led to your drive expanding all over the city, all over Delhi?
Oh, it certainly has, Uday. And the response has been outstanding. Of course, friends and family donated, and to be honest, initially that's all we expected. So up till now, in the last 13 days, we've raised 6,30,000 rupees, mm-hmm. and that surpassed any expectation we had. So let me give you some numbers. We've had about 80 donors. Many of these donors have donated more than once as well. Okay. So I applaud them. And quite interestingly, a quarter of those 80 donors have come from overseas. So people are donating from countries like America, Canada, Thailand, Bangladesh. So it's really been an international effort. And I feel like that really reflects the world standing with India, standing with Delhi in our time of plight. And that's something that I so much appreciate.
Yes.
And let me tell you how it's helped us expand as well. So now we've got more income coming in. So at first we had meal stalls in Ayanagar and Kotla, Anand Vihar, but now we've managed to expand to places like Chandanhola, Dera Village, Sangam Vihar, and we're not only giving out meals, by the way, we also give dry ration kits.
Okay.
And so I can tell you what's in the meal. So each meal on average is about 500 grams. So far, it's been things like, aloo puri or dal chawal, rajma chawal.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's quite good. I'm not going to lie. I've had a few nibbles. Don't tell anyone. But
you deserve it for helping. And are you giving it to men, to women, to children, to the jobless, or everyone really who depends on you?
Okay, so quite frankly, initially our target was unemployed migrant laborers, like auto rickshaw drivers, street vendors, hawkers, but it's their spouses, it's their children, it's their dependents as well. So sometimes you have groups coming as families. I mean, I've seen mothers coming with babies as young as, I can only presume, 8 months old coming, and depending entirely on these rations. In fact, just the other day I went to take oral testimonies and I spoke to some of these people, and they said without these stalls they'd have nowhere else to go for food. So the dependence is increasing on us, and it's important donations keep coming in, and
definitely
it's important we raise awareness about this.
Yeah, and that's why we're highlighting you today, of course. Where do you see this headed now next? Where do you, as you're saying, you've got great momentum already. What plans next?
Well, so as you'd know, we're now starting to see the ease of the lockdown in Delhi, but that doesn't mean our efforts are going to stop.
Yeah.
What we're trying to do is formalize our efforts. Right now, it's been a sort of private family household effort, but we're trying to register an NGO, and we're in the process of completing that. So once we do, we'll be able to access funds from corporate entities that have social responsibility funds. And also, we're very fortunate to have a great number of civic citizens in Delhi volunteer their services. So we'll certainly call upon them when the time comes.
Great. And final question then, how can people support you? Those who've been very impressed by what you've done so far, have heard you out today on NewsX. How can they support you? How can they help you and your cause?
Well, I suppose the most important thing is to donate and spread the word if you can share it on social media. And perhaps above all, I mean, it's not really a success because poverty still does exist and it's not going to go away overnight, and probably not within our lifetimes. Mm-hmm. And no goal is too ambitious, and no funds that we can receive are too much to tackle this problem. So what I do is encourage more people in civil society to start their own initiatives and try to do more for the lower rungs of society. I mean, India has one of the most skewed wealth distributions in the world. Something like 10% of Indians control 80% of the wealth. Mm-hmm. Now, so a lot of people have, if not a civic responsibility, a moral responsibility to help those in need during what's one of India's greatest humanitarian crises in decades.
True. Well, that's a great message that you've sent out to our viewers. Thank you so much for joining us, Hanut, and wishing you, your mother, and of course the team the entire best for this journey ahead. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Uday, and I hope you and everybody else who watches this stay safe during these troubling times.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.